The recording that you're about to hear is brutal. It's raw, it's honest, it's triggery for those of you who might be triggered, and it's also my son. He is 2,000 miles away, 7 states away, and we are interviewing him over the phone. And this is his story. At the very end, it ends very abruptly with me speaking because his phone died. And then we called him back later and finished the interview.
Yeah, but we really didn't get anything. The flow was already gone by then.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to put in the background of this because it is a video. So it's just a whole bunch of photos that I took when we lived in Arizona. Welcome to New Beginnings.
Welcome to New Beginnings.
And then for me, it's a lack of feeling. I don't feel anything on heroin, so that's my attraction with it. I'm totally numb when I do it. Fentanyl's better, it's stronger. So if you really didn't feel anything before with heroin, you really don't feel anything with it. Fentanyl. Your skin's crawling, your bones look like your bones ache. Your soul is screaming. It's a horrible, horrible feeling to come down. Now with methamphetamine, from what I've noticed, I need a nap and a sandwich.
Yeah.
Really. And then I'm cool the next day. I'm not tripping on it. It's more of a psychological deal if I want to get high, but it's not a total necessity like to do anything. I can still get up and be active and do something. Yeah, the difference on the come down is night and day. It really, really is. It's nuts.
Fentanyl works better, faster, cheaper. What's
Yeah, far cheaper, and it works. It works twice. I'd say it works twice as fast too. But the high doesn't last as long. It's not nearly as long as heroin. Heroin, I could get a $20 worth of heroin, and that would keep me good for maybe 8 hours or so. And with the pills, I could spend $20 on pills, and that would keep me good for, I'd say, 2 days. But the high itself, like from smoking one pill, it doesn't last nearly as long. I can smoke a pill and be high on it for a good 2 hours, and then by the third or fourth hour, I didn't smoke again. I need to smoke another pill right now.
You smoke a pill? What? Tell me what that process is.
So you get said pill, you break off a piece of foil, tin foil, and then you just throw it right on the foil and smoke it.
Really, you don't have to grind it up or anything?
No, they're all smokable. Like when you get them, as soon as you get them, like and you pull it out the bag, you can throw it on foil and then smoke it accordingly.
How do you do heroin? You personally, I know there's different ways.
I prefer to slam heroin, but you can smoke it the same way as you would do fentanyl. You'd put it on foil, light it, and just chase it down the foil.
What is slamming?
Slamming is when you intravenous use of the drug. So you put it in a rig or a needle and put it in your veins.
Okay, you said it doesn't feel like anything, so there's no process. What's it feel like when it first hits your system?
When it first hits your system, it's euphoric. It's so euphoric. You're on cloud 9. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling. It's like it's so great. To put it into words almost does it an injustice. But yeah, obviously it comes with a price too. For how good it feels twice as bad, coming 3 times as bad when you don't have it. So not having it is just next to death. It's horrible. When you come out of it, out of the come down. When you're coming out of the come down or the high?
When you're coming down from the high, then what happens? Just describe the series of things you go through after you've taken it.
Okay, after I take it, and I'm coming down from the high itself, it's a snap back to reality where everything when I'm high, everything I look at to me it feels brighter, warmer. It's like the scene that the warmer, how you can mess with your pictures and you can make it warmer and whatnot, and the picture makes it different, makes pictures a little different,
right? And
colder. It's literally like that. When I'm sober, it looks cold. Everything looks like it's going through a cold filter.
Wow.
And when I'm coming down from it, when I'm high, everything looks like it's literally on a warmer filter. It looks inviting. Everything looks good.
How long from the time you come down to the time you'll get sick if you don't do it again?
I participated. To be honest with you, I participated about it an hour ago. So I would say it's 2:30 now. 2:40. I give it till 5, and I'm not going to be feeling great. Well, it won't be so bad where I can't function, but I will be feeling it. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
So what did you take, heroin or fentanyl?
Fentanyl.
How many times have you overdosed?
Altogether,
Yes.
7.
7. That's what I thought.
Okay, can I get you to actually say that? Because I don't want our voices on here. So I have in other words, say I have overdosed X many times.
I've overdosed 7 times throughout my drug addiction. To be honest, half the time I've overdosed, I did not realize I was overdosing. It was not a purposeful or intentional thing, and I didn't realize I had overdosed until I'm being woke up by my friends, and they're telling me, "Hey, man, you just overdosed." I had no idea otherwise. To me, I was just high, and I nodded out. I went to sleep.
How did you feel afterwards? Were you angry?
Afterwards, I was to be honest, I've never been so scared in my life. This last time scared me so much, and I was appalled with myself, because that's not where my head was. I was not upset with the world. I was not trying to put myself down or anything or commit suicide. It was just an accident on my behalf. I put too much in a syringe. I was listening to a friend of mine talk, and I was not paying attention to what I was doing. And I put the whole thing in. I shot the whole thing up. And I know I should have only done a quarter of it just to see how it was. Because you can only do a little more. You can't take anything out, you know?
Yeah.
That was my fault. That was my fuck up. I was doing something really important, and I was not paying attention to it. And I put every bit of that syringe in my body. Now,
What brought you back?
when I did it, I didn't realize I'd fucked up. I didn't realize I'd made a mistake when I did it. I sat back on the bed and I cashed out. And everyone said that my lips started turning blue, and my breathing was super, super shallow, and that's when I realized I was overdosing. So when I woke up, I was like, man, why are you guys touching me? Because everyone's like just holding me, fondling me. I was like, what's going on? Why are you touching me? And everyone's like, man, you just overdose, and it scared the shit out of me. So bad.
What happened?
Okay, so I woke up, they told me I overdosed, and I told them I had to go home. And so Misty walked me from her house to my house and made sure I got there okay. I was all over the place too, walking. I couldn't walk straight for anything. I was super dehydrated. I was super sweaty. When I finally got into my house, I hit my knees and started crying like a baby. I was so scared, because that was not my intention at all. I was not trying to do that whatsoever. And it was I don't want to say a sobering experience, because obviously it wasn't that sobering for me, but it was scary, to say the least.
Did they use Narcan?
Yeah, they had to use 3 bottles of it. 3 before I started coming out of it. And that's a lot of Narcan. Most people use 1, maybe 2 tops, but 3 is a new record.
Do you keep it with you now?
Yeah, now I have a nasal thing on me all the time, and yeah.
You've been to prison a couple of times where you had the opportunity to get clean for a significant amount of time, and then got out of prison and went right back into your addiction. Why?
To be honest, I know why, and that's because I'm an addict, and I understand this. Like, I don't feel like going to prison, I ever received the tools to deal with my addiction. In prison, for some reason, I become a monk. I don't do any drugs in there whatsoever. Like, I stay really very much on the down low. I'm not in the middle of the shit. I'm not trying to be political or anything, get in the jump of it. I read and I work out, and that's all I do.
I am of the very unpopular opinion that addiction is a choice and not a disease. In fact, I feel like when people call a disease, that's a cop-out. It's a bullshit cop-out, because you can't fix a disease. You can't change a disease. You can't control it. You can't make a different choice if you have a disease. It's like epilepsy. It happens upon you, and you can take medication to try to help it, but that's not addiction. Addiction's a choice, just like everything else you put into your body. Every piece of information you put in your body, every piece of food you put in your body, everything else, it's a choice, I believe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yes, it is a choice. But when you're in your addiction, there is no other choice. That whole "it's a choice" thing is blown smooth out the window, because there's no choice about it. There is only getting high. That's the plain and simple of it. There is just that. Like,
you personally know that you have a viable opportunity to get clean any moment of any day. All you have to do is pick up a phone and call me, and I will make it so you could be here and have every opportunity to get sober and to get a life, help you get a fantastic job, and help you do all the stuff. And I'll help you through all of it. With or without rehab, whatever you're comfortable with or without methadone, you have this whole open door opportunity every single day, and you know that. You could reach out and change your choices if you wanted to. What keeps you from doing that?
The simple cop-out answer would be love. As of late, that's obviously been changing on my end and my significant other's end as well. My initial answer is love, but yeah, that seems to be fading with each day.
Well, anytime you're ready, buddy, you let me know.
Not a choice. I don't know.
I need more words. When you say love, what, for someone who doesn't understand what's happening in the conversation, what do you mean?
I mean, I love her. I don't want to be without her. I see me dying next to her, you know? I don't want that to change.
So this person is unwilling also to live without getting high, and so that's your connection point?
Yes and no. She gets high on methamphetamine, and that's it. That's all she does. Where I smoke meth and I smoke fentanyl too. But fentanyl's my drug of choice, my DOC. It's not that her getting high ties me to getting high and staying here at all. I love her, and it just so happens like she does methamphetamine. But that has no bearing on my drug choice, you know.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying a few minutes ago. I'm sorry. So you're saying the reason you stay there is because of love?
Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
Come to find out, it just so happens love hurts sometimes, and it shouldn't. But sometimes it really does, and that's my coping mechanism for it, is getting high. Like, that sounds like such a cheap, easy, pussy way, like, cop-out excuse, but I love her. You know, I love her every day. Like, with her ups and downs and all that jazz, all in between, I accept her through and through. And when that's not reciprocated for me, that hurts. When it hurts, I have to make that hurt go away. Back to the whole, you don't feel anything on it. It numbs you. It takes all that shit away. That's what it does for me, and that's how I'm able to cope and deal with our relationship, basically.
Sure, everybody wants to be loved, everybody.
And when it's not reciprocated on my end, like, that hurts so much.
Absolutely.
The only way I know how to deal with it is to get high. I was scared of getting out of prison this last time, to be honest, because I knew I didn't have the tools to deal with it, like, to handle my addiction. Because I feel like once you have the tools, quitting addiction is not a right here, right now thing. In this moment, you know, it's an everyday, all day long, even tomorrow choice that you have to make. And it's an easier choice to make once you have the tools to deal with it.
I agree.
I knew I don't have the tools to deal with it. And I knew that when I was getting out of prison. I was scared. And I knew it was going to be a matter of time before, you know, we get into an argument. She says something mean. I say something mean. And then I'm hurting. And instead of, like, lashing out and doing something stupid physical, like to earn like a domestic violence charge or some shit, like, the best way I know how to handle it is just to get high.
Let me ask you something. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself either in prison, overdosed or in prison. I think that's about where that is right there. Yeah.
Do you want a different future?
Do I want what?
Do you want a different future than prison or overdosed?
The quick answer would be yes, but I'm gonna sit here and notice I have to pause before I answer that. Like, I know I would have to leave for that.
You'd have to do the work, yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me at all. Like, I feel like I'm quitting then on her. That's not what you do when you're in love. You know what I mean?
Well, let me tell you something. This is something that I profess and I preach and I talk about all day, every day. Term that I have recently kind of coined on my own, and that is extreme personal responsibility. Only thing every single individual can do is themselves. The only thing you can do is make yourself better. The only thing that you can do is be the best you can be. And that means in every aspect of that. Physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's all you. And it's all choices that you make. Every situation that you're in. And you're the only one that can change any of it. And if every single person took extreme personal responsibility for themselves, and when I say that, I mean every thought that crosses your mind, every word that comes out of your mouth, every action that you do, wouldn't the world be a much better place? Wouldn't your life be a much better place? If you just focused on being the best that you could be every day, doing everything you can to make good decisions.
I dropped the call, they might have hung up. So we are Mark and Micquette, and we were all just walking each other home.